Hi, my name's Greta. I'm from Manchester and I'm a third year student of Spanish and Arabic at Pembroke College. And you may already know, but if you don't know, the title of this sort of course is EMEL, and that stands for European and Middle Eastern Languages. And this is a very popular degree subject. There's lots of people who study this hanging around the OI. And like I said, because I study two different languages, it means I have a very busy schedule full of lots of different things. And often when you're doing EMEL, it can kind of feel like you're pulled in two different directions because you do have to keep these two areas, ticking along at the same time. But as I said, I'm a third year, or I'm just finishing my third year. And I would really say that my third year at Oxford has been the most enjoyable out of all the years I've been here. The first year, you probably have been told already what the syllabus is like, but in case you haven't, the first year is very much a grounding in the basics of both sides of my degree, or that's what it was for me, and an introduction into the way that teaching works at Oxford, and an introduction into the language as well. And then the second year is, well, if you don't know, at Oxford, if you're studying Oriental language like Arabic, or Mandarin or Russian as well, you do your year abroad in the second year, and that's different to other universities. And I found that really beneficial for me because it meant that when you finish year abroad, for one thing, you still have 2 years left of your undergraduate degree, so it's not like, you spend the year abroad and then you get dropped into your final year and there's loads of pressure on. And also, it was just very good, I think, for my personal development because you finish your first year and I was still kind of in fresher mode. I still hadn't really worked out university. I still hadn't really worked out living on my own. Whereas when you go to Jordan, for example, which is where I went and which is where you probably will go on your year abroad if you study Arabic, or maybe Tunisia. I'm not sure. It might be different by the time you get to go there. But obviously Jordan is a long way away from Manchester, and you really had to land on your own 2 feet and be independent. And if you had a problem, you have to sort it out yourself there. And it was honestly wonderful for my personal development, and for helping me to be more independent, I think, definitely. But yeah, that was last year. And also, I should say that the year abroad being in the second year is really great, I think, for the development of your language, if it is Arabic you're studying, because when I got to Jordan after not having spoken Arabic all summer, I really could not speak very much at all. But by the end of the year, it was so much better. I was really quite at ease speaking Arabic. I was at ease in Amman, and I could have proper conversations, quite long, in-depth, rewarding, fulfilling conversations, and I never thought that was possible in Arabic, but the year abroad really enabled that, and that was really great. But getting into third year, as I'm just coming to the end of, which is amazing to say, the time really flies, honestly. So this year, because we have an acquisition of more Arabic, we're really getting into the more complex and higher level stuff. Something that I was kind of intimidated by studying it at first was classical Arabic literature, because when you look at it for the first time, it just seems very dense and complex, and the language is so old, and the themes in it are so ancient. I was thinking, how on earth am I ever going to understand this or get anything out of this? But thankfully, with the help of my tutors and with the help of lots of reading that I did around it, you come to appreciate just how rich the language is, and also how rich and diverse the Arabic literary tradition is. And it was very interesting to study that in conjunction with modern Arabic and literature. And modern Arabic literature goes back about to the turn of the century. And that was fascinating because you could see how the impact and legacy of classical Arabic tradition kind of bled into and even fed the modern Arabic literature even up to today. So that was really rewarding. And then on the Spanish side, third year has been great because by the time you get to third year, you pretty much can choose what you pretty much have total say in what it is that you study. So you can choose whether to study medieval, the Golden Age in Spanish, for example. The Golden Age is not my cup of tea, so I studied paper 8 this year, which is the modern paper, and I studied half of it was on Latin American writers and Latin American literature from around 1800 onwards, and the same on the Spanish side. And it's been really fascinating actually to study. I studied the Latin American side of the paper first in Michaelmas term, and then the Spanish side of the paper second in Hillary term. And it was very interesting to see how events that were happening on like opposite sides of the Atlantic were informing each other and informing the literature created by two different worlds. And yeah, I really enjoyed this year as well. And this term, just gone, Trinity term, has been rewarding, challenging but rewarding, definitely. Like I said, in third year you do get so much more choice in what you study. So this term I've been doing the special subject course for Arabic, and I've chosen to study one by put on by Marilyn Booth, and the title is Harems, Homes and Streets. So we've been talking about concepts of gender roles in the Arab, not only in the Arab world but also in Turkey and Iran. Gender roles, space, neocolonialism, neocolonial constructs, all sorts. It's been really, really fascinating. So I'm just telling you that so that you can see that although my degree may say, just Arabic, Spanish and Arabic, that Arabic side not only encompasses Arabic language, it encompasses classical literature, modern literature, harems, gender politics, spaces in the Arab and Islamic world. And also I forgot to mention that you also do an Islamic religion paper, which I've been doing since the second half of last term up to now, and that is a really broad paper that will teach you so much that you never even knew was there behind Islam. You do the interpretation of the Quran, Islamic law, Sufism. We've just been doing Islamic theology, and it's really complicated, but also absolutely fascinating. So I think it is one of the good things about this course is that even though it's difficult, and even though I complain about it sometimes, under the heading of Arabic, you do get a very rigorous, broad and comprehensive education on much, much more than Arabic. And I think when you're doing an Oriental language especially, I think it's very important to not only study the language but also to study the culture and history that informs that language. And anything else I should tell you, honestly, by the time you get to third year, it absolutely just depends on what you're interested in, because you do some things are compulsory, like for Arabic, I don't know how it is for the other courses, but for Arabic, studying religion is compulsory and studying classical and modern literature is compulsory, but then you get to pick the special subject or the further subject paper if you're EMEL. And you also get to pick the same on the Spanish side, and then you get to do the bridging essay as well, which is completely your own. The only really stipulation of the bridging essay is that it needs to take an element from two of the languages and two of the literatures that you're studying and compare them or combine them. But I haven't picked my title yet, but I know what I'm interested in. My interests are very much informed by the gender course I was studying, so I'd like to write my dissertation probably to do with gender roles in the home and food writing and women's role in the kitchen and in the family and as a homemaker, probably somewhere in the Arab world and also somewhere probably in Latin America, because I want it to have a post-colonial context. And another thing that I really enjoy, it might be not your taste, but we do get the chance to have we get to do oral classes, and we also get the chance to do translation in Arabic and Spanish, and I really enjoy the translation classes because I just enjoy translation, and I enjoy, if you like really looking closely at language and syntax and why we say things the way we do, you will like translation because it's just the opportunity to discuss that in depth, and I really enjoy that and I find it fascinating. And I think that's all I really want to say. So I hope you enjoy the open day.